Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What is up?
Welcome to the 196th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-hosts Andrew Norman and Brandi S. Today's topic is hope and optimism. What do you share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you are happy to discuss this here today?
Bro, I'm in such a good mood this morning, man. This is such a great day. It's a beautiful day. Look, I love you guys, man. We just had a little pre-meeting, and y'all know I'm dealing with a little bit of pain right now. Yeah, let's just call it that, you know. But we don't use over things, and we come on and we show up. You know, we show up even when we're in pain and in strife and whatever it is. So, y'all keep me hopeful and optimistic, and so we're gonna talk about it today. One of my favorite things in the world, hands down, hope, man, because I had none when I got here. You know, hope and love. They're the only two things that the only two spiritual principles we can actually give to each other. I'll say that anytime we touch on those things. And it's very, very important to know that, because there's a lot of that we give out in these rooms. But at first, I didn't even think I deserved it. Didn't know what it was. Didn't think I deserved it. You know, that hope word was just a kind of a far off thing for me. I was so used to disappointment, disappointing people. And I believed that really nothing was really good was going to happen for me. It was like a deep, deep down disbelief in myself, really, and hope. Back then it was a fairy tale. That's all it was. It was a fairy tale book that wasn't really meant for me, because I was on my way down fast, people used to make themselves, to make yourselves feel better when life gets hard, like you got to find hope. When I was existing, I wasn't even looking for hope anymore. But then when I realized that hope really wasn't about everything being okay all the time. It was about believing that it could be okay, even when it wasn't, right? Like it's that belief that it can be okay one day. It's very, very important. I didn't have that perspective then. Like when I first got in here, I couldn't look, like looking back at it now, I can see that, but I didn't know that. I don't think there was any way to see that then, so I would always give up on myself before I even had a chance. And the irony of that, though, is deep down, some little piece of me must have had some flicker of hope, even when I had none, right? Like there was something deep down, I give it up to God and just wanting to survive, because I made it to my first meeting. You know what I mean? Like I made it to my first meeting, and I didn't see it back then, but like that was that first hope shot. Like that was hope. That was a hope shot. Just, it wasn't like a strong one, but I was in the door. Right. And then that's when y'all just threw it on me, right? Uncomfortably, like it was just like, it was on like Donkey Kong then, like y'all were just like, it was it was in y'all's hands then, right? And then real quick to jump to the optimism part, right? Optimism wasn't something that really came easy to me either. I'm a very, very optimistic person today. Y'all both know that. But it didn't come easy to me. For me in recovery has taught me that optimism is spiritual. Optimism is spiritual. It's the choice to trust the process, even when life doesn't make sense. Because a lot of times, especially when we come in here, keep it on me, life didn't make sense. I didn't even want it to make sense. I didn't want to be here. You know what I mean? So staying optimistic is a spiritual thing for me. And the longer I stayed clean, the more optimistic and I got, right. We can build up that optimism, right? Every time every time we push through that hard time, every time we do that, our optimism grows. Right. And so, the longer I stayed clean, the more I realized like optimism isn't just blind faith. Right. This is something that we can grow. We can, as long as we stay spiritually, right, working the steps, get some spiritual principles in our life. So like we get optimism. We can, right? And so going from nothing to being a completely optimistic person today about pretty much everything. Like I'm not signing up for everything, because I do have boundaries, but like still being an optimistic person is something that I was taught in these rooms, man. It's something that working this program has deepened in me, and it's one of these things, every time this too shall pass, right? I got to remain optimistic in those times where I want to give up. Or I want to give up because there's a lot that goes into that, because we're going to want to give up a lot when we get in here. We will try to complicate our way out any way we can before we identify our way in. You know what I mean? Till we hear that story, till we hear that, oh, there's my story, right? Like whatever it is that gets you latched in. But that's my thing. That was my hope and optimism lead in. And I love both of y'all immensely, and my foot hurts really bad.
Oh, man.
I love you guys, man.
I love you so much, Mr. Wise Toe. Like that was just
Wise Toe.
Wise Toe. It's true, dude. You just did
As opposed to green.
You did the most wise intro you've ever done, and it was like battling all that.
Controlled.
Wise Toe.
Battling the pain.
Wise Toe Norman.
As opposed to Green Thumb. Yeah, okay.
That's
good.
Great. Oh,
That's
man.
So
you poor guy, you.
I love y'all, man.
I thought that was amazing. Thanks, Andrew.
It was
I'm really
amazing.
glad you shared
it was
that.
amazing.
Yeah. And Brandi.
Yes.
Brandi.
So I got excited when I saw this, these being the topic, because I am naturally an optimistic person. And I so much I don't see it. My sponsor would tell me sometimes, she's like, that's just how you are, though. You have that way of looking at things, my glass is half full. I just don't know how to tell somebody my glass is half empty. But it doesn't mean that, life doesn't try to give me a half empty glass, for sure. But, when you can put these two together, or even, they kind of go hand in hand as it is, it's being able to expect good, and in a realistic way, of course, but expect good, even no matter what the circumstances are, the outcome will be good. And I like how you said, Andrew, that it's a spiritual thing, because it really, really is. If I'm not spiritually fit, then that's when my glass starts to look a little half empty. So it's important, it's important to be able to, I think with that, it's like being able to center yourself in what it is, because, you go off of the opposite of those things, and, it can wreak havoc big time in our lives. And it does start, a lot of our stuff we go through, it starts, it's an inside job. And what are those two? Those are two very important inside tools. And so, and hope used to be so like, oh, well, I hope, I hope that goes for you. It's kind of like maybe I'll pray for you if I remember to, and that's it. But hope today is so huge. It's so huge. Like I gotta have hope. If not, then what is there? Especially when it's something that's not in your hands or your control. So today it's like I can hold on to those with positivity, instead of like, as it's raining, cats and dogs. I was gonna say shit, but I said it anyways, right? And I'm like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's all good. There's times where I can look at it in a realistic way today, and understand maybe it's not fine right now, but I'm gonna keep showing up and working on it. That's for sure. So, optimism looks like that today for me. And but I just think that it's beautiful how we can talk about stuff like this, because it's real, it's real. Even when, I don't know about you guys, but like, what we put ourselves through, our families through, it was probably really hard to see the optimistic or hope in any view of anything. And today we have the ability to. Again, we have to. It not for all of us, doesn't come naturally. We have to look in that direction. It's not like necessarily we're going to put on these, like optimistic glasses and everything's going to be beautiful. We need to, acknowledge it for what it is. So I'm grateful that I can look at it. And also I tried to look and see, because I like to try to see if there's a downside to anything. And it was kind of hard to find a downside to this kind of stuff, except for, it says avoiding growth or reality, and then dependency on external outcome. So, that's definitely that's an inner thing, like the growth that we do inside, and a lot of it is out of our hands. So what can we do? So I'll leave it there. I got some great questions, and I love you guys. And Andrew, you and your big toe. Sorry, buddy.
So sad.
Well, it's still normal. I really liked what you were saying right at the end, Brandi, because one of the things that I feel bears mentioning or a little exploration in our conversations is the fine line between hope and expectations.
Yeah.
Like those, if enthusiasm and anxiety are on the same spectrum, hope and expectations are also on that same
Yeah.
spectrum. And
And we know serenity comes when you trade expectations for acceptance. So
That's right.
we know that.
Yep.
And so hope really for me, like I remember walking into the treatment center first time, and my hope was derived by watching these people who were like 4 to 6 weeks there longer than me, laughing and talking and thinking and working and I was
thinking,
just like whoa,
Yeah.
like it gave me this like quiet assurance that change was possible, and like hope to me is it's not like naive positivity. It's
Yeah.
like, it's some of like faith in motion, or even like, the reason why I wanted to put these two together is that I really feel inside that hope is optimism and patience in motion, you
Hmm.
know because it's like the big problem before for me was I was always disappointed because it wasn't happening now, right? But it's
Yeah.
okay to think positively and to be working towards something, but having the patience for it to actually arrive when it's the right time for the entire universe and not just for me, right? And
Yep.
that was um and that was there was kind of like a big thing, like the reason I picked this topic was because of my daughter's surgery last week. And it was
Mm.
like, okay, here I am. Uh, Old me would have been catastrophizing. Old me would have been super anxious. And it wasn't until after her surgery really that I realized the stress that I was carrying. But inside, it was like I felt optimistic about it. I
Mm.
felt hopeful about it. And you know, I couldn't exactly explain why, other than that I'm different now.
Yeah.
Like even compared to her surgery 15 months before, I did not have that same feeling of assurance, optimism. I definitely had hope.
Spiritual growth.
I definitely, yeah, and so I thought that it would be, something really good to discuss because, like in the AA Big Book, they talk about new happiness and new freedom that comes from surrender. Like when we stop fighting life and begin trusting it. And I think that, somewhere inside the word hope is that trust in life,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like it's also like a fine line between hope and faith, right? Like I'm hoping something, but there's part of me that also believes in it, and that part's faith. But they're kind of like in that same little walnut of where my heart is at, and
Yeah.
um, like surrender lets us release the despair, and I think that that in itself can help make hope. And trying to love completely, it makes hope like something that's alive inside who
Yeah.
I am now, like on a day-to-day basis. And you know that hope and optimism, like, the optimism I truly believe is coming from a lot of surrender and gratitudes, and that like helps me heal and shift who I am in a way that I'm able and starting to have more positive thoughts. I'm having more optimism in a situation.
Mm.
And when my spirit is just uplifted all the time, then it's just like I feel like, that love and surrender bring a bulletproof vest to it.
I
Like
like that.
where
love
and
that.
anyway,
All right,
that's all
all
I
right,
got.
Sizzle
And
Pan. All right,
I
Sizzle
fucking
Pan.
love you guys. But
Starcic.
it's this was just like, something I was sitting, like literally sitting last week in a hospital thinking like I'm okay right now.
Yeah,
Like I
beautiful.
wasn't like biting my nails, and it,
Mm.
I
and it,
remember you talking about that, bro,
yeah.
on a podcast, and you were like, man, because the old me would have like been freaking and like been going like a haymaker on the way in, but you said I was calm, but then it hit me like a ton of bricks afterwards how
Yeah,
much I really was, but your program was stepping in, keeping you calm, right, for the family,
Yeah.
yeah,
everything,
and
and then it hit you.
Yeah, but like it gave me the strength when I needed it, and it let me be real when it was time.
Really cool, man. That's
Yeah.
really cool. That's
Mhm.
really cool. And then we're on the back end talking about it, giving somebody maybe a little bit of hope, a little hope shot with you can get through it too. Just
Yeah,
get through it.
that's right, man. You can survive your kid's cancer with them.
Yes, absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
look, I started thinking about this. Optimism doesn't remove the pain; it gives pain a purpose.
Ooh, I like
Ooh,
that.
yeah.
Just kind of came up with that. I was thinking about that. It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's a
remove
good one.
the pain, but it gives the pain a purpose. So, all right, I'm gonna
Oh,
ask the
wise toe, you're just coming out with them all today.
Hey, hold on. All right, let me lift it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
here we go.
right.
Okay.
I
Keep it
swear, right
elevated. I'll be
before the
sitting here like this
podcast, we're gonna have a
elevation.
hammer and you just hit a toe and we start the
Right?
podcast and you're just gonna be like spewing all this wisdom.
Wise toe, green thumb. I got you, man. I'm with you, man. All right. So, all right. So, Brandi,
Yes.
now, listen to how I word this. It's not gonna when
Okay.
did you first? So, how did I first begin to feel hope again in recovery? How did I first begin? How did I first begin to
How?
feel hope
Okay.
again in recovery? Yeah.
That's a great question. I like that you said it like that too, because it's so easily we could, you could go back and be like, well, but
My first
how I
meeting.
did,
Boop.
yeah, right, right. How I did was truly seeing other people and relying on my higher power. Like I'd say mending the connection with my higher power. I don't think it was ever afraid, but like I obviously was not I was turned away for so long because I had so much guilt. But
Mhm.
being able to lean on my higher power and mend that relationship with my higher power and see other people do it. Because I didn't think for so long that I had the future of being in recovery. Like I thought I was, destined just to, be it just to keep using. I'd say be an addict, but I'm still an addict. And I didn't I didn't see that. So when I could see other people in recovery, like, like when I first went into treatment, everybody's laughing, that first meeting was laughing, and you're like, what are you
Mhm.
guys laughing? We're in
Ho
treatment,
ho
like what
ho!
is so funny? Yeah. And then being one of those people laughing and but seeing that different way that of life, that new way of life in other people, and then starting to see it and feel it in myself. That's when I was like the hope. That's when the definition of hope changed for me, or what it meant when I said it. It wasn't an empty word anymore. It wasn't like like oh bless her heart. We all know what that means. and,
Keep coming
and
back,
it
young
was
lady.
yeah, and it was and so it changed like that, but it really was because I convinced myself, and even though we'll talk about it too, I'm such an optimistic person. um you can put enough negativity and discomfort in your life that it's hard to see it. And so when I finally like got my mind cleared and I was able to see other people and I was able to connect with my higher power, I had hope for a lot. And it started just with not using for the day, and then it was like, the hope to make it the 28 days. And then it was like all these different hopes were geared towards my recovery, but my growth and who I was as a person and who I was gonna be, and not who I used to be. I mean, I definitely would be like, yeah, I hope I don't use drugs again. That's true, but I hope to be a little bit better tomorrow than I am today. I hope to be able to say something and share a message. I hope to hear something from the next person. You know, I hope that that my relationship. I'm gonna be started on my relationship. Like I hope that lasts. And here we are. 20 plus years together still. And so it just means different. I mean, maybe it's because we just hope differently. When in this in this direction, should I say? But I'm full of it today. I really am. I'm full of hope. Even when I feel like I've got everything I could possibly think of that I would want. I mean, there's always materialistic things, but I'm not talking about that. Um, it's there's still hope, a hope for a future where my kids don't have to deal with the kind of stuff I've dealt with, and so I don't know. Hope is a great thing to hold on to. It's almost tangible in a sense of like it can be with me at all times. Like hope is something I want to keep in my back pocket for sure. And not that list of wrongs that we were talking about before. But it's it's definitely moments that I can look back on, especially when I'm asked something like that, and I can feel those first beginning moments of hope. And those things that those moments like that, like almost revives me when we talk about it. That's another reason why I love these kind of topics, and to ask a question like that, because it's kind of like, it revives that feeling. Because even though I got hope today, like that first fresh hope, man, that's like nothing else. Like I didn't
Woo.
know there was another world out there besides the one I was living. I didn't think that like I could personally walk a different path. And today it's full of it, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. So I'll leave it there. That was a great
I,
question.
I've got this shitty eating grin on my face, just like a feeling the hope that you felt in that first experience, just how you're telling the story. Like, how beautiful is that?
Yeah,
Hey, Milan, she
right.
said, I'm full of it.
I,
Not of shit no
I
more.
was
Not full of
laughing.
shit no more.
I
I'm
was
full of
like
hope.
I was like, don't burst out. It's her turn.
Let's go. I'm full of it, boy. Hope. Hope time, baby. That's
Play that back.
beautiful.
I'm full of it. I'm full
I'm
of it.
full
I'm
of it.
full of
I'm
it.
full of it.
Put that
And
on a
and
song.
and I'm not full of shit today.
Yes,
I'm full of hope.
I'm
that's
full of
Let's
right.
it.
go.
Full
Full
of
of it.
hope.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
That's
Full of
right.
it. Not shit. That's funny. All right, cool.
Right.
So, all right, Milan, you ready?
Yeah.
Pay careful attention to how I ask this question.
Yep.
How, sir, how did I first begin to feel hope again in recovery?
Yeah, and I was thinking while Brandy was talking, and what she was saying was giving me some ideas. But first of all, the very first mechanism that allowed hope in the door was stopping using. Like
Yeah.
I had 12 days before I got to the treatment center that I cleaned out. And I'll tell you, those 12 days were not filled with hope, but they certainly, like, when I walked in those doors and I wasn't in the midst of like that first 5 days of withdrawal, like I was actually able to receive and see things, and I think it was like my open-mindedness and my awareness. Like I was desperate. So my mind was like, okay, let's give whatever they're doing a chance. Like I walked in
Mm,
and then it was like, boom, I have this example of like joy, freedom, growth, using their mind like in a clear way, laughter. And it was like that brought to me an awareness of what is possible from the hopeless, right? And one thing that like nobody said yet about hope, and I really think it's true. It's like, um if I can't picture a song, I'll never write that song, right? And if I
right.
can't picture something to be hopeful for, I'm never hoping it. So it's so much through creative visualization, optimism, but also by example that I'm given hope. Like when I see happiness and I'm not feeling good, that happiness I see makes me hopeful for happiness because I see that
Yeah.
happiness exists. And the same goes for the freedom inside recovery. Like, how far have the three of us shifted where it's like day to day, I am not worried about addiction. I'm
Yep.
worried about maintaining my freedom in my soul. Like
Yes.
it's
Perfectly
like
said.
like the things that I'm hoping for are not even the thing. Like like I used to hope my bag never ran out. I used to hope I wasn't going to get caught in
Yeah.
the bathroom
Yep.
by some little kid or something doing a rip. Like it now, like I'm hoping I deepen my surrender and love completely. And although those are like really broad things, they are things that I have faith are attainable in
Mm,
All
some
those
met.
efforts are recovery related. All your efforts are recovery related, not drugs anymore, right? Like all
yeah.
those extra
But
efforts are towards your recovery.
it's not like my hopes right now are not for external items or control of external things. They're literally
Mm,
for an increase inside my spirit, an increase in my connection with my spirit, an increase in my awareness of my spirit. Like I'm just not even hoping for the same things. So like when I saw those people like doing that, I was like, wow. I'm like, it was just like I felt like almost where they were like behind this glass wall, and I was like I remember turning my head as these guys were like laughing and talking, and I was just like, that could be me soon.
Yeah.
And it was like right after I got there, it was the step working time, right after lunch. And they were all like bookworms studying away. And I was like, this is amazing. Like they are eagerly studying for 2 hours
I
at
love
this
that.
step, and then I think, that one of the last things that brought hope in was just that my initial surrender of my addiction, it stopped the noise in my head, and that stopping out the noise gave me a little bit of faith. It gave me some optimism, and it gave my brain space to think about things like
Mm.
hope and recovery. Like it was like hope was such a profound thing, like that first month, like it was
Yeah.
such a profound thing, and it just created more hope. Like it was like hope, faith, experience, hope, faith, experience, hope, faith. I was like I was just like, man, my pink cloud. It was like, man, you couldn't even see it. I
Yeah.
was like, it's above the other clouds in the land
That's
of pink
Right.
beautiful.
ones. In the land of pink ones.
Up
Okay.
there with Brandy on her pink fluorescent cloud on your hope
That's
stack.
Brandy and
right.
I had our own cloud
That's
zone.
right.
Yeah, you're like, what
Yeah.
you doing up here? I'm just chilling
No,
on my hope
no
stack,
low-lying
chilling.
clouds allowed. No low-lying clouds
Yeah,
allowed.
that's so funny,
We're on a
man.
higher elevation.
That's so funny. That's so dope, and it's so cool because that'll roll me right into my answer too. Because
Yeah.
these things, it's almost like once you realize what you're doing with this hope thing, it's like you start realizing where they're all coming from, all these different angles, and then you're like, oh shit, like these are all hope shots, right? It's not like
Yep.
trying to get me out of here. It's trying to pick me
It's
up.
how much you listen at that time, man.
Man, it's so beautiful. So Andrew, did I first begin to feel hope again in recovery? Well, it's so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful. And both of y'all had amazing answers. I love both of y'all so much. Y'all are such beautiful people. Um, but as it was for me, I talked about being in that first meeting. I felt the hope and love like it was thrown on me, but I didn't really understand what was happening. But for me, the hope was a slow roll in. I had a few things that happened that I didn't really understand why I was feeling a certain way and why I was feeling optimistic in certain times. But I was sitting in these rooms, and I would hear stories. People would talk about their shit, and I really didn't understand why they were saying what they were getting. I don't know how they were getting therapy out of talking about just their daily stuff. A lot of people just talk about what's going on in their day, and as a newcomer, if it's not one of those banging shares, like we're not really into it, right? The normal daily shit, we just
Yeah.
kind of go, this is why I don't want to be here. Because I don't want to hear
Yeah.
about this guy not being able to drop his kid off on time, like little things like that. But then what happens is people keep telling you all those little hope shots of like, let us love you till you learn how to love yourself. They keep throwing all these little slogans at you, right? And
Which are so annoying at first,
which are
but then you
they're the
thrive
worst.
off of them.
They are the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst. But then when you started realizing like the initial act of you walking into that first meeting, what was a hope shot in itself, and I would feel these uncomfortable love and hope shot feelings, right? And then I didn't see it then because I thought it was just desperation, right? But when I
Mm.
would sit in there and I remember looking around, I would see people laughing, and laughing's contagious, right? Laughter's love to me. I'm
Yep.
always down for laughing. My thing is like laughter. If we're having an issue, I try to make you laugh. That's how I try to break
Yep.
your barrier down. And so laughter is something that I really wanted. And I remember coming to meetings online and in person. And I remember laughing with people, but it was I would be laughing because I was just trying to be along with the group. Like nothing was really funny to me, right? Like nothing was really naturally funny to me. But I remember the first time that I forget what the gentleman said, but he said something and I laughed. I laughed and I didn't have to think about laughing, right? Like I remember giggling and I remember looking around and it was a weird feeling to me. Like I remember it was like I didn't feel guilty for laughing. Or I wasn't
Yeah.
looking around seeing if I was laughing too much. I was just laughing. And bro, that right
That's
there
awesome too.
mixed with everything else, just like it set in me like because I want to laugh, I want to love, I want to commune with other people, like, and laughter is huge for me. It's a big connection thing for me. And that was where it really kind of latched on to I might be able to be different. Like I might be able to do this. I might be able to laugh and be normal again. Like I was curious about it. I was wondering how they were doing it and if I could it was almost like a drug. Like I wanted to laugh like that again,
Mm.
And so I kept coming. That was a big reason why I really, really, really kept coming regardless of those bad days. And I realized that laughter is so much more powerful than like shame, guilt, all that fucking shit. If you can laugh, if you are in a place of feeling shame and guilt, remorse, if you can be that's why like comedians get paid a lot of money to make you laugh. Like if you can laugh, it makes that shit go away.
Yep.
You can hold on to laughter and love, and you can roll that into making a whole different day out of your day. Like you can change the situation up completely. I was not in a good mood when we came in here, but we all communed a little bit. We laughed about my toe, and I felt a little bit better. It got me natural endorphins pumped up to being hopeful, to being the way I can be right now in this podcast.
It's an amazing transformation in 35 minutes.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about my toe. Right. I'm just doing, it's more or less just conversation piece right now because of the optimism, because of the hope. It's little shots like that we can build onto now that we've got a little clean time under our belt. We know what the shit's doing for us. Like I knew coming into here what I needed to do. I needed to be in this meeting because I needed to get my mind off of it, and it gets me out of my head. I didn't know that coming into here. I wouldn't have been like brand new coming, hey, yeah, we got to get ready for this podcast regardless. I'd have been like, man, my toe's fucked. I ain't coming in. Right.
And easily, if you were like, you know what, I don't think I can do it because I'm in a lot of pain, that pain would have just grown in so many different ways.
I'd have been sitting in a meeting trying to talk, over talk, trying to take a burning desire or something. It's wild how that shit can work. And then you could become stronger on the front side of just being a hopeful person, being an optimistic person.
Yeah.
I don't have to stay broken forever, right? Maybe there is a new way to live, and little by little, and people start showing up. You get a sponsor. You really get hope and optimism, man. People pump us up. Let us
allow it to penetrate you. Allow it to, when you're not like that, and people are trying to give it to you, like maybe just check it out. Just like
that's it.
Put your toe in.
That's it. It came through. So it didn't come all at once. It came through like people consistently being honest and showing up in the same way, laughing the same way every time. And I knew I could go get that same treatment that I did. If I go here and I'm honest with myself, I can go laugh again. And that's all I wanted. I wanted to laugh. I just wanted to laugh. I wanted to love. I didn't want to be miserable, man. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I just wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be happy. So
like truly happy,
truly
like
happy,
that,
man.
Yeah.
Truly happy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to feed me before I woke up in the morning. I want to feed me before I feed me to be able to show up. I want to just be happy in the morning. I want to listen to the birds. I just want to be here. I want to be present. So that was where my head went.
I find that with and with meetings, like when I host, it's like sometimes, especially, it's the end of the day, and it's like, and usually I just get dinner, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to host tonight. And then I get in there, and I'm like, clean time starts, and it's like, I don't even want to end the meeting when it's over.
Yeah. You're like, what was I thinking? 15 minutes ago, you want to nuke the whole thing.
So
you're like, bro, I'm in a whole different mindset.
Even with like so with bad days, like to put yourself out there and just do those positive things and be there for someone else. Even it really does transform how you're feeling. Maybe your scenario doesn't go away, but how your outlook in the moment does change. And it's amazing when you can see that too and embrace it.
I remember my first little hope shot from like sleeping through the night completely without being on drugs.
Yeah.
Going, holy shit, I just did that. Like I just slept through the night and woke up. Like it's wild, man.
Yeah.
Didn't wake up 3 or 4 times.
That was a long time for me. Holy shit.
I had the craziest dreams when I first got clean.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Like all kinds of, it was crazy.
I did too.
Yeah. And so now it's like, I dream probably, I guess, normal. I don't know.
I'm glad we're talking about this real quick. I heard somebody say something the other day that we were talking about drug dreams and stuff. And there was a gentleman, I wrote it down. He said, my daydreams have been way more real than life itself. So you talk about night dreams, and then he started talking about how his daydreams and the real shit that he's actually gone through have been so much more horrific than any dreams that he's had for real. And it just put things in perspective for me. Like, that's true.
Yeah.
You and I,
Yeah.
us three, have lived through some way worse shit than we can dream up. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
you don't even remember half the shit we've done.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and you
Right.
think about some of the shit we've dreamed. I know we've done worse shit than we've even dreamt up. So, like, think about that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I don't
Yeah.
wake
Well,
up
I
like.
hope zombies
Yeah.
don't really chase me, because that would be crazy.
Well,
It depends. I
own
mean,
ways.
like, I like some
know.
real
zombies.
zombies.
Some of them
I
If
live
it's
in
just,
eating
Halloween
zombie.
time or not.
they
I don't know if
make
it's
a good
Halloween.
band. You can just be like,
Nah.
hey, you all play G.
If there's a zombie show or a movie, I've seen it.
Zomborchestra.
Zombie.
Yeah.
My Zomborchestra.
Zombie.
Zombie.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
Sorry
And
about
then
I didn't mean
before
to.
I ask a question, I gotta say, we're talking about laughter, right? I took my son to the doctor the other day, and we went and got some food, and we played. I don't know if you guys ever seen it on social media. People where they say something, they reverse it. The person tries to say it in reverse to get it correct, and so
No,
you have. Oh,
but
I don't
I'd beat
think.
Milan every time. Just letting you know.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. And I told my son, I was like, I don't know if I've laughed that hard in so
Word nah.
long.
Word nah.
Oh,
I've
it
never
was.
seen that.
Oh, it's so funny. I'll have to send you one of the clips. I guess you can do the reverse and playback, like you could do it on Snapchat, but I downloaded the app that I saw it.
Narb and word nah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. I was laughing.
I'm gonna have to
just
see it
died.
and I can play along. I have no clue.
It's hard. It really is hard. But yeah, it's some good shit. It's pretty funny. Okay. All right, Andrew, are you ready?
Me.
Milan.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Milan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. How do you define optimism, and how is it different from denial or fantasy?
Woo. Well,
Hmm.
okay. How is it different than denial or fantasy? Well, I mean, okay. I think for myself now at this point in my life, my goals are things that are actualizable by me, in some form or another. And like I was saying earlier about hope being optimism and patience emotion.
Mm,
So optimism for me now isn't just like I want 16 cars. It's that if I keep working this program, there's a good chance I'm going to be straight today, just like yesterday.
yeah.
That's optimism in action. And so I think, what was the first one? As what in fantasy? Denial?
Denial. Yeah.
Yeah, like denial, I think, is just not looking at the facts as they are. And so I think that my kind of my step 10 and my step 4 and help me kind of dispel a bunch of my delusions. That's still work in progress, like obviously.
Mm,
But the thing is though is that I do think that there's a large amount of that gets just kind of brushed to the side for denial now. And I think that when I'm hitting a hard situation, I talk to friends. Like even when we're talking right here, there's sometimes stuff where it's like I'll listen back to the podcast and just the conversations we have around something that gets brought up. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the answer sitting right there. And so I would like to think that I'm an optimist, and
mhm.
my optimism is getting reinforced by the amount that I'm trying to express gratitude. And so I think that when I'm expressing the gratitude, I'm trying to do it like that first sponsor of mine said, that gratitude's an action. And so um, generally on my gratitude lists and most of my gratitudes, I am not fantasizically having gratitude for something yet. I'm not also trying to make it that future event is when I'm going to be happy. It's just that,
Yeah.
you know, uh, I had a friend say to me about 15 years ago, he's like, oh, you're lucky, Milan. And I said, Richie, I said, luck has nothing to fucking do with it. I'm like, I'll put 15 irons in the fire. And if it takes me 4 to exist, you know, I'm probably going to pull a quarter of them out hot, you know? And sometimes I'll pull 6 out. It's a good day. Occasionally I'll pull 11 out, and it's like a freaking amazing time. I'm like, but I'm working towards all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
think that my optimism in situations comes from my discipline and my commitment. And that keeps it from being fantasy, because I think that, the more and more that I'm inside this program, it's like your higher power can do some fantastical things for you. But the one thing it's not going to do is the shit that we can do, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yep.
Love that. Love that.
Oh,
You,
I can't hear you.
we lost you. We lost you. We lost your audio.
I don't hear you.
When you pulled your shirt like this, you pulled something out. When you went like this,
Hello?
there
Hello?
it is.
Hello.
There it is. There it is. You're back.
Yep.
Oh, no, it says
I
my
saw it when you
internet
went like
connection's
this.
unstable.
You're good.
Oh.
You're back.
Oh, yeah.
You're back.
So, well, what is the last thing you heard?
What you what you said, and it was so good. I was going to ask you to repeat it.
Bro,
Um,
it was right when we said something is when it stopped. It literally stopped right then.
Yeah, you know what? Gosh, I just totally lost my
Yeah, because it
entire
was good. I
train
wanted
of
to write
thought.
it down.
My mindset went right to fixing the problem because I didn't want it to
Yeah,
not
damn.
end.
Well, I just like, but
What you had talked about what your higher power can do.
yeah, and so I just
What you
know
can
for
do.
myself,
We're
I
back.
know
There you
for
go.
myself that like the things that I can't do, I am definitely getting help for. But it's my job to be working for things. So my optimism
Yeah.
isn't based on fantasy. It's based on my discipline and my commitment in my life.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
like I have a feeling that there's going to be a great meeting today. Why? Because I'm leaving this and I'm going to fucking set up for it, and I'm going to be there giving out some
I'm
love.
gonna make that shit happen, bro.
Yeah.
I noticed you got a shirt on
Well,
today.
I got a shirt on today. Well, I also have to go to work right after the meeting. So today was like
Well, you look
today
nice.
today was like I had to do everything before this, and then I'm just like
Hey.
go from this.
Let's
Right.
go, big
Yeah.
dog.
But
Love that, man.
but like I think that optimism can be based on facts rather than fantasy. You can have fantasical optimism, but for myself, I just don't think that that's where I live. I don't live in the maybe worlds. Like I'm like, okay, I think that I would like this, and then my brain is like, how do I attain this? And my brain just starts dissecting stuff. That's how it works. And then I start doing little bite-sized chunks of it. If it's something that I'm willing to
Yeah.
make part of my day. Like now I'm probably exercising almost 3 hours a day, and I am doing that because I'm feeling optimistic that it's giving me more and more results in the future.
Yeah.
And those results feel better than anything else that I've had, like any drug I had ever. It's like the drug that's actually making me feel good long term instead of that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to leave that
Yeah.
there because I've sort of got a little bit confused there, but I'm back.
And well, that and when you say like that the long term, it doesn't it's your what's the word? Your tolerance doesn't change for it. You know what I mean? Where when we use, our tolerance changes every time we use, for sure.
Yeah. And you
And
know
so,
why? You know why our tolerance changes? Because I was
hmm,
listening to that Hungry Ghost book. Because your body is a natural equilibrizer. So it takes the level of endorphins in your body and it wants this stable level. So what happens is that you have all these receptors, and say we want to do drugs because our receptors are really low. We have low receptors. And so drugs
hmm,
feel really good, boosting our endorphins, right? We start flooding it with all the drugs, and we're like more and more. The body naturally shuts off our receptors to keep that inner equilibrium on the other side.
Well, it's
hmm.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I just learned that last week from that
Our
book.
bodies
Is
That
are
that
book,
book
wild.
that Nicolette?
yeah, like I am telling
Oh
you want to
yeah.
learn more about yourself and weird little habits. Like it is so fascinating. Like,
Is it? I gotta get it. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I put it in my
Which
list or
one is
my
it? Which
In
one
the
is it?
Realm of the Hungry Ghosts by Gabor Mate. I
I
just
got that written
finished
down.
listening to it, and it's on like it starts out very anecdotal and very story like about the people he works with as a doctor, but then about chapter 14 he goes kunk right into the physical mechanisms of each type of addiction and how that changes you, how that changes your personality, how someone in recovery does little weird things. And I'm like, man, it's like the story of me. I'm just like,
Oh,
I'm just
I
like,
like
whoa.
that.
Uh-oh, ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Might have to dip
Yeah.
that in highlighter.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Ruh-roh.
why I love a physical book, because I was like, oh, I got to come back to that one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we're at. I have no clue.
Brandy's got to ask you a question.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
ask you. All right, Andrew. All right.
By the way, I love you guys. There's not been a lot of love.
Love
I love
you.
both of you guys. Like a
Love
super
y'all,
ton of
man.
love. Just to
Do you
get
love my toe? What
doses.
about my toe? My toe's a separate entity.
love
No,
your
I
toe,
love the
too.
wise toe. That wise toe is now like
Yeah.
my favorite toe in the whole team.
Yes.
That wise toe has made the podcast today.
I wouldn't flick
starting-
it. I swear I wouldn't flick it if I saw you.
He was getting optimistic till that last comment.
You would want to, though. You know, like somebody with a sunburn.
Optimistic.
No, that hurts. That hurts. Don't say that. Oh, my
Said
toe.
optiflistic.
Wise toe can't be hurt. Wise toe
He
has
was-
compassion and understanding.
He wants to run. He wants to run and hide.
Wise
Oh,
toe
yeah, he
understands me.
Oh.
Wise toe is truly surrendered.
Oh, damn,
It's
Mom.
your
Yeah,
nail.
Mom. Mom, I'm here. Yeah. I hear you, Mom. Yeah. I'll be there in a minute. All right, guys, I got to go.
Okay, leave Wise toe
okay.
behind because he's got to finish the podcast.
All right, Brandy, ask me the question. I don't even know what podcast we're doing anymore.
You guys are so funny.
I
Okay,
love
how
that.
do you define how do you
Okay.
define optimism, and how is it different from denial and fantasy?
All right. Well, denial's not just a river in Egypt. That's what we thought it
Mhm.
was. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. Don't even notice I am lying. But optimism is God, it's a spiritual mindset for me. Grounded like in truth, faith, and all that good stuff. It's not pretending to be that everything's going to be okay. That's what I thought it was. I thought just pretending to be okay meant I was an optimistic person. Deep down, knowing it wasn't going to work out. That's not what optimism is. And then with the denial and fantasy, like in active addiction. What? I'm just kidding.
What?
I heard you go woo. In active addiction, I lived in denial and fantasy, right? Like that was my chill place. Like that's where I used to live, and because I was surviving, there were survival tools that I had to use all the time. Fantasy told me, denial told me that things weren't as bad as they really were when they really were. And fantasy would tell me that one day magically the shit was just going to make itself better somehow. And that I was just going to stop using, and then I was going to get this house and the white picket fence, and then this lady was just going to happily appear into the house. She was going to be my wife. It's kind of funny. But optimism, on the other hand, optimism is real, right? It invites me to face reality head on. But not alone, right? With faith, I tackle it with faith, and it's my willingness now to see things as they really are, right? And grow in those situations, and grow as a human being, and to trust that maybe something is possible, something better is possible for me and everybody around me. When I think about it, like denial will be sitting back there, be like, there's no problem, right? And optimism will be like, there's a problem, but that's not the end of the story.
Yeah.
Right? And then you think about it, like fantasies, like everything will get better if I just wait long enough. And then optimism will come in and be like, things will get better if I stay willing, do the work, trust the process. Right? It's like we can take the denial and fantasy, and then optimism can come in there and just reword it a little bit, and it can be optimism if we choose to make it, right? We can really spin these fantasies and these denial mindsets into something of optimism if it's real, if it's realistic. Has to be realistic. Like we're not going to turn like a fantasy of winning the lottery into being optimistically into winning the lottery. It's not going to happen. That's not how that works.
Turns into expectations instead of optimism.
You can pray all day for winning the lottery, and I hope it happens for you. I hope it happens for you, but like that's not what we're talking about in this sense. So I talked on this earlier. Optimism doesn't deny the pain. And it doesn't remove the pain. It gives the pain a purpose. It gives purpose to the pain. It says that even my struggles can serve as something greater for me if I remain open and teachable in this moment. Like when I'm optimistic, like I'm not running from the truth. Because because I'm trying to tackle these things head on, and I'm trying to live real and be honest. Like everything has to be honest with being optimistic. Because once you're not honest with this whole piece, then it turns into fantasy. You can't be optimistic about something that's not even real or something that's not possible. So there's that teeter totter. That's a great question, Brandi. When you first asked it, I went, that's kind of a weird question. But now that I'm really thinking about it, it's a really, really good question, because they can turn, like one can turn into the other, which kind of bleeds on like a good side or a bad side, right? If you fade
Yeah.
into the fantasy and denial section, but that can turn into optimism, and good optimism if you do it right. If the situation presents itself. So it's a really, really cool question. But now, when I think about it full circle, optimism for me is built on the evidence of what my recovery has already done for me now. I've seen the changes it's made in my life. Like I've seen the relationships I've been able to build because I've remained an optimistic person. And that's not fantasy, man. That's faith in action. When we remain optimistic and these things happen, that's how we grow faith. That's how you grow faith. I guess optimism reminds me that I can still look at the truth and where I am, accept it, hold on to the belief that like we're going to be better tomorrow, because I have been I've been getting better so far. Like, why would I not trust that it's going to work again? So denial hides me from reality. Denial, I'll hide from reality. Fantasy tries to rewrite it, and optimism accepts and trusts that like something's going to grow from all of it, regardless of if it's real or not, whatever. So that's my answer. I love you
I
guys,
love
man.
it. That was great. That was great. Yeah. So I'll ask myself before I start talking, I guess, right? How do I define optimism, and how is it different from denial or fantasy? Well, you kind of talked about it, Andrew. Like when I was thinking about this question, like fantasy and denial was definitely what my optimism was when I was using, because like I am, like I said, naturally optimistic person, but I didn't really see it like that until after getting in recovery, because life was denial and fantasy. Denial of the fact that like I had a problem, or that I could quit tomorrow. That kind of stuff. Like I was in full denial that my addiction, my active addiction, and my drug use and my behavior affected anybody but myself. I I had this fantasy in my mind that I was just going to be able to use drugs, and everybody was going to leave me alone. Like it was, how was like my husband will just finally accept the fact that I'm going to do this. Um, and that's sick fantasy for sure, because that was my addiction fully, taken over whatever little bit of hope and optimism I had left. Like I'm an addict, it's what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, and so it was big time. Like denial was a big thing for me in active addiction. And I didn't know how to really get out of that, because I didn't see it for what it was. I didn't see it for denial. I didn't see it for like me looking at things as in a fantasy kind of way. But it is, because optimism is not hoping, is not like, being optimistic that that bag's gonna come through, or that, that I'm not gonna get caught for all the thieving and all the lies and stuff. It's me knowing that, like you were saying, like I just need to show up, be open-minded, and have hope, and I can be optimistic about the fact that I might not use drugs today, and tomorrow. That's my goal.
Hope a
And
miracle.
yep. And I didn't when it comes to it, like, just like even everyday stuff, I gotta be realistic. I have to be realistic. Like there's things that like my leg, I'm optimistic instead of denial and fantasy, because I wasn't and which goes to acceptance. I gotta accept where I'm at. I have so much to be thankful for, and the whole chaoticness of me when I broke my leg up until today. And I choose to look at those instead of denying the fact that or living in some type of fantasy that I'm going to be able to run a marathon one day. Which, it's funny, I would have never ran a marathon before I broke my leg, but for some reason I want to today because I can't.
It's so funny.
And so, I want to go
You always want to,
hiking.
as soon as you can't do something, you want to do that shit so bad. It's so
Oh
funny.
man, yeah, that gets me big time. Um, but it's to be realistic. Like I can maintain an optimistic attitude out on life and even on hard times when there's setbacks, and to do it without denying the reality of what it is, denying the situation or the scenario. I think everything can be looked at in an optimistic angle, even the shit. It really can be. But but I'm not going to try to make that shit into a fucking cheesecake. That would be bad. I don't know if that was a great reference.
Shit into a cheesecake. That's awesome. A shit cake.
That's
I don't know
chocolate
if that was-
cheesecake. That's chocolate cheesecake.
I don't know if that was a great
Choco
reference. That one
taco
just came out, but
Come on, man. That's so funny. 2 slices here, please.
I gotta write that one down.
You
slices
got to
over
write that
here.
one down.
2 slices here, please.
But I think it makes it definitely gives the point for sure. Like, when to be realistic about it. And
That's so funny.
sorry,
That's so funny. The shit cheesecake sandwich.
that one just came out. That was
was
meant to
great.
come out today. That
All
was
right,
great.
that's so funny. Or where we at?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Wisetoe.
Yep.
Mr. Wisetoe, the delicate digits of Mr. Norman. Optimism in recovery is not blind cheerfulness, but trust in divine timing. How have you learned to see setbacks as part of your spiritual progress?
Oh, wow. Well, my past no longer enslaves me, man. I talk about this a lot. Coming in here, my past was my prison. I used to, I was behind bars in terms of like whenever I thought about my past, it would enslave me, man. I was completely enslaved by the shit I did in my past, and I didn't think I could really. I thought I had done so much wrong, and on top of that, I was a drug addict. I am a drug addict. I'm an addict, and so I thought that when people finally knew I was an addict, that I thought like life was over then. That's why I tried to run from that courageous act for so long. I thought, I didn't grow up in these rooms. I didn't know there was a program. I didn't know there was some other way to live. I didn't know that there was help. I didn't know that there was a better way to live. And I didn't know that there was any hope for me going forward. Right. The whole going and getting therapy and going to a doctor was really faux pas. Like I didn't even want to be seen going into a therapist's office because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. I literally had that thought, right? Did not want to go into that place because that place is where crazy people go walk into because they need therapy. They need to go talk to people and be on drugs and things. And, just that alone, there was no past that, right? So when I started doing that, they put me on like medication, and I was talking to a therapist, but now I'm in this program, and this program has taught me, I don't even care how I got here, whatever, y'all know, and I've told my stories, but now I'm here, right? Fast forward to me being here, and y'all have taught me that my past is somewhere that I can go and I can reference it, right? And I can grow from everything I've done in my past, right? And so we have, the step working process that we have here allow us to systematically go through our life and revisit those areas and try to make an amends and try to make amends to ourselves, try to figure out why some of the things why all the things happened that we did, and how it's affected us and our family. Like, it's so beautiful. That's why, I love the Mother Fellowship or whatever, but our specific step working guy, like in Narcotics Anonymous, I'll just say it, is so detailed and so amazing. It's so beautiful. I can't even put it into words. Anybody could use that step. My mother could use going through those steps and would make her a better person. Like anybody that goes through that step working guide with somebody else and does it honestly could be a better person will be a better person at the end of it. I truly believe that. I don't even really have to say anything else about that. The step working guide, it is what it is. If you're working the steps, you know what I'm talking about. As soon as somebody in these rooms starts working the steps, their lives change. They change immediately. I can see a change in them in the meetings from day one. From day one. And then they get scared. Some people do get scared and you see them fall off or whatever. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's being scared to be happy. I don't really know. I don't know what that is, but I would embrace it.
There's a lot of self-sabotage there, man.
A lot of it. Yeah.
I believe, it's that lack of self-forgiveness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It always comes down to that, man. So yeah, forgive yourself. Look, put that bat down, pick up a feather, do some step
Yep.
work. You know what I mean? Like this recovery process and these steps are very, very hard. It's very arduous. It's very, very, very detailed, and it's going to take you a long time. But look, staying actively addicted to drugs is really, really tough too. It's
Yeah.
really tough.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's
I
a
worked
lot of work to go.
harder at getting high than I do at staying clean. Not
Let's
that
just
it's
start there.
easy all the time, but
That's
you
mentally, I
know,
keep coming back to that as like from
yeah.
nothing to like let's go moving forward. I would easily sign up for this recovery thing all day than before going back to what I was
Yeah.
doing with the beating people over the head and using drugs. Like that shit was miserable. Anyways,
Yeah.
love you guys,
That
man.
rat race in my head, man.
Mm-mm.
Okie dokie, Miss Friedel. Optimism in recovery
Freedom!
is not blind cheerfulness, but trust in divine timing. How have you learned to see setbacks as part of your spiritual progress?
Man, that is a great question because like I was not good at setbacks. Not that I like to be good at them, but like I couldn't I held myself back in a lot of things in life because of the fear of a setback or not succeeding at something, and getting clean was one of them for sure. It's and maybe that's why I am optimistic because I just I shielded myself so much from failure or setbacks for so long, that when it came to like real life and I was in active addiction and I was like couldn't stop at all, um I just like embraced them in a way, but in a dysfunctional way. I just made like, let's look at it this way. Is it really that bad that I do this? And it is, folks, it really is. But today, like, I embrace that kind of stuff because if I'm not like, if something doesn't work out, one, I feel for myself that it's not meant to work out for me. Like I have this understanding now, like if there's something that like maybe I pray a little extra on and like, oh, I just really want this, or can this just happen at this exact time? And it doesn't, then it's just not supposed to be at that time or for me. And that helps me a lot because God forbid we got everything we wanted. I mean, how boring would life really be if you think about it? You
Mm-hmm.
ever try to shop for somebody that has everything? My dad's like that. So it's like that. It's hard. It's really hard to please. But like so I embrace them. I embrace setbacks because I'm growing then. If I did everything and aced it every time, uh, what am I learning? I'm not learning. I'm just doing things in emotion. But to be able to face a setback head on, throw a little bit of hope and optimism, maybe a little pink cloud, all that stuff in there. And I can see it for what it is, like I can see, okay, this might be really shitty that's going on right now, but I know what to do. I have the tools to be able to get through it. Rather it's outcome A, B, or C, I'm okay with it, and saying I'm okay with it doesn't always mean that it feels good or it's what I would have thought I would have chose. It's going with it, being open-minded, remaining teachable is a big one. Like I don't know all the answers for sure. But I like to think sometimes that I do. But sometimes life just kind of is like, you know what? I don't think that's the way it is because it is, some of these characters that we have, defects or not, like we bring them in our recovery, and then we, do the steps, which are beautiful. I love the steps. They are life-changing if you allow them to be. Um, and we see what have we been fooling ourselves about? What have we been telling ourselves that this is the way to do it? And even if it's even if the outcome wasn't good for us, it's what we wanted, right? So that's okay. And in reality, I'm grateful to be able to it call up like I don't know, blind faith. I have so much faith that it's a blind faith for sure. That it's okay. Like when I went back to school after 24 years and got my high school diploma, um, like I graduated with honors, by the way. I was pretty excited
Woohoo!
about that. And then when I went
Congratulations.
to I was pretty excited. I was in special ed all through
It's a big
school
deal.
and when I was a kid. So to come in and do this on my own and clean was a big factor of it.
It shows
I didn't know that.
intention. It
Yeah.
shows
Yeah,
intention.
yeah. I didn't know that. That's one thing I holding myself back. Like I
It's very
didn't.
integral.
I grew up integral like that. It's very. I grew
Integrity.
up thinking I was stupid. And so, because I have a mean sister, and so I never put myself out there. So I never had a lot of setbacks because I just played dumb my life. So then, anyways, to be able to do that, and then I was like, oh, okay, because this happens a lot. People get out of treatment, they get clean. I was like, maybe I'll be a drug counselor. Okay, which is amazing, hands down to all of them. And I didn't get the scholarship. I was pretty disappointed in it. But then I realized that I'm in my 40s. I don't know if I really want to go get a new career. And if I want to help other people and addicts, I just need to show up. Just show up for
Yep.
people.
Yep.
So instead of I feeling like that was a setback, everything was going good, and I was like, well, why not? Like I gave a pretty good story, and like I did really good on the essay, and yeah, like it was amazing. I mean, it was noted, but it wasn't. I just I didn't get the scholarship, so which is fine because it just didn't need to work out like that. That wasn't for me, and I feel like whatever I wanted to do with that schooling, I still get to do today when it comes to talking to other addicts. So, and that's optimism. That's being optimistic about what the outcome will be, even if I'm not too sure which direction I'm going to go. So I'll leave it there. That was a really great question.
That
What
was
does
a
courage stand
really
for?
great answer, Brandy.
What does courage stand for? Courage stands for continue on understanding, recovery, and God's embrace.
Oh, I like it when you do the longer ones. You're like, I got this.
He's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, optimism in recovery is not blind cheerfulness, but trust in divine timing. How have I learned to see setbacks as part of my spiritual progress? A big part of this is coming from Surrender, the Great Resurrendering, March 2025. Shout out to Tom Smith, who
Woo! I love you.
just because it's the truth, and,
Changed my
and
life.
and my good friend Laura, who I would say expresses gratitude in more situations than I've seen anybody else. And her very favorite thing is about it being the lessons and the blessings. And like
She the one that says words are magic because we spell them.
no, that's Trish.
Oh,
That's
okay, sorry.
Trish.
That's
Yeah.
great. I like
Sorry.
that.
Yeah. She's like, because we spell. Yeah. Ooh, I love Trish is amazing.
Sorry about that.
But they both are. But the big lesson, like I was a math guy. There's no like joy in not getting perfect in math. Like it's
Yeah.
and I'll be 100% on it because that just means I didn't understand the concept, right? And for me, it was like, well, if you told me once, I understood it. Like, and that's just so. I didn't grow up with any appreciation. And nobody in my life when I was a kid was like, oh, that means your first attempt in learning, failing. Like nobody was saying something like that to me as a child. It was just like,
Yeah.
like I wasn't good at sports. One of the only things I was good at was school. And it was just like, that was kind of where I could actually do something that I felt like I was good at. And so it's been a real journey understanding that it's like, when we have to change one thing, it's everything. If I can
It's
write, it's
everything. Yeah.
everything. Like
Mhm.
it is everything. And what does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of my old habits, they weren't right for this lifestyle, you know? And a lot of those habits are based on preconceptions and thought patterns and really like having to restructure that. So to go from that to the lessons and the blessings, like, and to be able to step back from that. And then, with Michael Singer, where he's talking about, that it's preference. Like your expectation is a preference, and so our disappointment comes from our preference in a situation, and that preference, that preference is me expecting to be right. Like I have a preference for being right, and that hurts when I'm not. But when I
Yeah.
can look at my motivation and be like, hey, you know what? My real motivation here is to grow. And there's something I'm like I want to deepen my surrender, but yet, man, not surrendering seems to be pattern of the day. you know, like, and then I'm like, well, what's going wrong here? Like, you know, like there's times now where I'm sitting with my wife and my daughter, or my wife or my daughter or whatever, and I'm like, okay, the rubber's hitting the road here. I'm like, I can feel intense discomfort and preference happening. I'm like, so either I have to let this particular thing go, and I'm like, and I have to see where I'm not loving in this situation. Because
Yeah.
for me, that's the hinge, is that it's like the motivation that pulls me away from love that's not a motivation that I want to foster anymore. And so it's like, okay, where am I not loving here? You know, like I had a real thing last week with people involved with the property deal that like I absolutely think are scumbags. And I got roped into being involved with them by them using a company name. And now I'm like,
Mm.
and I'm there and I'm like right at the finish line, and there's like weird things happening with them. And
Mm,
I'm like, I just want to not keep my word to them. I
Yeah.
like, you know, just it would have absolved me of them. And I said, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm like, because then they're making me the scumbag like them. And I was like, I am going to give them the honest time frame and tell them everything and let them decide whether they're involved or not under these parameters. And I did.
Yeah. Good for
I,
you.
I, I did, and they couldn't satisfy it, and I didn't have to be the dick. And I was like,
there you
Yeah.
go.
oh, this is how it can be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't have to compromise. I just have to define a boundary, step
Yep.
back, and let them fall to the side
Mm-hmm.
because they can't satisfy an honest boundary.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. I mean, just imagine if you didn't do that, how that would have ate you up.
Totally. I would have been still talking about that right now. You know?
Well, and that's probably the difference in like in that's stuff that our recovery gives us
Yeah.
is the ability to be able to make those like decisions of you know what, like this isn't right, because easily can we get roped into someone else's shit and like, all right, well, I guess that's what we're doing.
It gives me a
But to
guideline that I didn't have.
yes, that yes, exactly.
Like before, it
Yeah,
was just
which
like, watch whatever works for Milan is what Milan's doing, even if,
Mm.
but the problem is that doing those things wasn't working for Milan. But I couldn't see the behind the scenes result of that kind of action.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's really cool.
Woo.
Thank you for sharing that with us, man.
I love you
Yeah, that was
guys.
great. That
Is
was
it my
great.
turn to
Oh, it's a
answer,
wise toe question.
Brandizzle?
Yep.
All right, my toe is going to ask the next question, guys. You all ready?
You're going to do like with the thumbnail and be like, hi,
If I
Andy.
was a little, if I was a little more flexible, I would. But be like, all right, guys. All right, guys. All right. So, Brandy, what role does faith play in maintaining hope and optimism for you today?
Um,
What role does
you
faith
know,
play in maintaining hope and optimism today?
it's you know, it goes with it. Like I've definitely like I was saying, I have a blind faith, and you know, my higher power, especially, who gives me that and refills it for me as much as it needs to be filled, is a big part of maintaining hope and optimism, because what are they without it? I mean, really, you know, like I have faith, like they come from it. Like, cause I don't think I could be hopeful if I didn't have faith, or I couldn't, you know, how am I so optimistic if I didn't have faith in something? And I know that what it is, it's for the greater good of me and, you know, and the greater good. So like, not just me, but so when I look at it, like, you know, I always think about whenever I hear faith, I think about that George Michael song, gotta have faith, faith, faith. That's and like
Ooh,
that's like what's, you
baby.
know, and so in that, yeah, I love that song. Good shit. And like I think about like that, like in that upbeat kind of way. Like I gotta look at things in a way. I get to have faith in things today that I didn't before, you know, and I don't let today, there's not things like drugs and lies and guilt and shame that fog my faith, that distributes my hope and my optimism. I mean, it really, you know, there was so much before that got in the way of how I felt about myself and how I felt whatever I deserved. So I didn't you know, like I looked at it as there was a lot of denial and fantasy instead of that hope and optimism. And I hope that, like, I hope I hope that I stay optimistic.
I see what you
Um
did.
You see that?
Hmm.
That like, but it's something that like, it's an action thing. Like what is, faith without action is dead. And, I need to renew it, constantly, even though I feel full, it's something that I don't take advantage of it. I don't take advantage of the fact that I have this relationship with my higher power that has spiritually helped me grow in so many ways, that whatever, like, for me to really live and say that I'm an optimistic person. I used to, I don't know how to say the shit of things, but I'm learning to, because they can be just as important as the positive, because it's what makes who I am today, is what makes the outcome of something. And so faith is super important for me, and I suggest it for others. If you don't have it, get some, because it can go far, and it's definitely, opens the doors for a lot of things besides, the obvious ones that we're talking about. But like I don't know, like I don't know if I could deal with life in my own hands without having the faith that I have for my higher power. And that's where it comes from for me. That blind faith comes from, like, I know that, like I was saying before, like I know whatever the outcome is, I know it's good for me. Even if I don't like it, or I would have chose different, one day I'll be able to see that what it was good for me. I must be on a song kick or something like that, because there's this Garth Brooks song, and it's or God, I can't think of it for some reason, but it's thanking God for unanswered prayers, and because we can pray some stuff that we might think that we want, but is it really for us? And
Ooh.
it's a great, yeah, it's a great one. Like, thank you for the
You
unanswered
need to go to a
prayers.
concert soon, Brandy. Go to a concert or
I
something.
know, I do. I think I do. Music is everything for
To
me. I
set up
love
music.
music.
Hmm.
Yeah, and people will say a word and I'll think of a song.
Love you
And
guys. Love you guys.
yeah, that's it though. That was a good. That's good.
I
Love
love
you,
that.
Brandy. I didn't mean to cut
I
you
love
off or nothing.
you. No,
I
no,
was
you're
messing
good.
up.
You're good. You're good. No,
I
that was
love
fine.
I love you so much.
I love you.
Milan, if
I'm
you want the
ready.
question from the toe?
Oh yes, give me a little toe jam.
You're ridiculous. I
I
can't
know.
take
Toe
you in.
puns are too much,
I
man.
can't take you anywhere, bro.
You never do.
Can't
No.
take you anywhere either.
We can,
You never did.
you ready? So what role does faith play in maintaining hope and optimism for you, Milan, from the big toe?
Well, for maintaining hope and optimism, I think that if I hoped and felt optimistic about things and nothing ever panned out, I wouldn't have any faith. And
Mm.
so like I was saying, maybe I think it was the very first question when I was mentioning my first surrender, right? My surrender of my addiction. That was that came without the actual hope of that effect. Like, so there was an open mindedness and an action. And I actually had no belief that that was going to work the way it worked. And it was just like, shoo, gone. And I was like,
Mm.
whoa. So it was like the faith is the fuel that keeps both of those things growing inside me. Like I feel extremely hopeful about a lot of avenues in my life right now because they're fueled by the faith in so many things occurring in a succession here inside my program. I feel very optimistic about things because I have faith that I'm going to continue to be doing my part with my discipline and my commitment and all
Mm.
that. Like the faith is faith, like my connection with the universe, is it's every day. It's every day. Like it's some part of every day. Even on the darkest days now. Even on the days where I'm feeling shitty, there's been some point of connection. And and like even the function of what I'm doing with the two-way prayer, right? Like what am I doing? I'm asking a question to the universe about how I can be better in a situation. And what does that do is it gives me a list of things that can make me hopeful that I'm going to change today. you know,
Mm.
and when I look back on the list and see some wins, you know, I feel optimistic then. And so, you know, like like how I felt anxiety wise and a lack of contentment 9 months ago, compared to how I feel now, that gives me faith that miracles can happen with surrender. You know, like freaking
Yeah.
miracles.
Yeah.
And miracles can happen with love. And like, and for me, it's like, I think I'm a sucker for both of those things. Like I'm a sucker for optimism. I'm a sucker for happiness. I'm a sucker for joy. Like when something's working, I'm feeling like there's so many things I've hoped for that I now have faith in that it's unbelievable to me, you know? And it can't help but make me feel optimistic. And so I hope that answered the
I like
question.
that.
Heck no, it didn't. Answer it again.
Okay, so my name is Steven and I'm from Albuquerque.
That was a beautiful answer, man.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
You almost took my answer right out of my mouth. So, but I will try. I'll
Mm.
try to answer. What role does faith play in maintaining hope and optimism? I want to just break faith down for you. For all individuals that heal, y'all already know the company that I'm affiliated with. Faith, forwarding all issues to Him, finding answers in the
I like
hurt.
that.
Fear ain't in this house.
Fear ain't in this house.
That's the one I wanted to
That's
get.
right.
Fear ain't in this house. That's what
Fear
I
ain't in this house.
Fear ain't in this house.
I like that.
Give
Ain't
me a
no
little
fear
peace.
in this house.
No, sir. No, sir. Okay. So faith for me is the backbone of my hope and optimism most of the time, you know, because that's kind of where it all, you said the fuel. That's a great point. It's the fuel, Milan. You know, it's that faith word is so important to me. You know, taking that first step without seeing the whole staircase, trusting the process, you know, and it doesn't really all show up at once for me either. You know, it's built through experience a lot of times. You know, every time something worked out, or every time I thought something was going to not work out and it did, and every time I pushed through something, every time I was able to get through something tough, my faith grew a little bit more each time. You know, it would deepen and grow, right? And I remember noticing it and the more that my faith would grow, the more grace I would receive. You know, these little pieces
Mm.
of like grace, I would just be getting great. And it's all about, and you've been hitting on this a lot today, Brandi, it's about showing up. Got to show up for
Yeah.
yourself. Even when you're not, even when you definitely don't want to, you need to show up and you need to share.
That's
Or,
when
you know,
you
at least show
need
up.
to show up the
Yeah.
most.
Yes.
Because
Gotta
that will
show
give
up.
you faith that things change, man.
Bro, because
Yeah.
then next time it will be just that much easier to push through that thing, knowing that like I'm gonna be okay on the other side of this thing. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, bro, I'm amazing. I did that
Right?
yesterday.
I'm amazing.
Well, you remember, it's like
Yeah.
you're creating new pathways in your brain. Like you
Yes.
remember, like I know when I like don't want to do a meeting, I'm like, you know what? But I'll feel right about beginning of clean time. I know I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel good. So
And the thing is, we
Yep.
stayed clean another day. You know, if you didn't use that day, so then you go, look, I did that, and I was being proactive and being a useful citizen in society and
Yep.
maintaining connections. And then I didn't use to,
Yeah.
and I stayed clean, and I want to go do it again, right? So that's how we try to tend to build that faith and hope and turn it into traction, right? Optimism, hope, being able to wake up and not have to find it, but it's there, you know, naturally when we wake up, right? These things roll into each other. It's beautiful. You know, so like over time, I would see like so as those things started working, man, I knew my higher power had faith in me, like had my back, and was working for me even when I didn't know it was. You know, like when I wasn't doing anything proactive for myself, like he was working hard. So that's where I pray. I
Right?
talk to him a lot now because like it's my turn now to give back to him. Like I'm like, what can I do for you, right? Because bro, I had nothing left. I was completely cooked, you know, and so he kept me alive, you know, kept people around me to keep me fed, and just from nothing to what I am now. And so I'm just grateful to this program and God, you know. But faith and specifically is what keeps my hope alive when my mind starts to spiral out of control and into that doubtful area. And it's what tells me that, like, even when setbacks come, like, keep going, you're not done yet. You know what I mean? It's that quiet little, keep going, man. You're gonna be all
Yep.
right. And that's just is a shift change for everything for me, you know. But it's real personal too for me. You know, faith is really personal too. It's not about religion, it's about relationships. It's that quiet understanding that no, like there's a power greater than me that's got it under control and wants good for me regardless, and loves me and allows me to love regardless of like what
Yep.
situation I'm in. I could be in the worst situation in the world, but it's going to allow me to find the love in that situation. That's what I'm really good at, is finding the love in every situation.
Yep.
And it allows me to be, hey, like Andrew, and then it allows me to be content, right? Obviously, and that's where it breaks down to the passage that Sydney read the other day when she spoke,
Mm-hmm.
out of tradition 11, or what was it, tradition 11, I believe it is, out of the Edward
Yeah.
Town
No, it
Y,
was step
where
11.
step 11, God's is his what is it? It's just for us to be content. God's will for us is to be content, with or without that stuff, with or without any of the money, the cars, all that stuff. God's will for us is to be content
Mm-hmm.
and to have faith and to be hopeful that everything's going to be okay as long as we don't use today. We can keep that choice. My new DOC. What is it? Choices.
Yeah,
My new
I was telling
DOC.
some of that. Yeah.
My new DOC, son.
A
So
friend of mine, she was telling me she's a stay-at-home mom, and she's like, sometimes I'm just a Nike commercial. I just say, just do it all day. Just do it. Just do it.
or
Like,
just
yeah.
don't do it. One of the
Yeah, just
two.
don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
cool.
that's
Yeah, I'm
great.
done.
I was like, I
That's
find
it.
myself saying that. I was like, I don't want to do that. Just do it. Just do it.
I love you guys, man. I love y'all
Yeah,
immensely, and
I
thank you
love
for
you
taking me out of
too.
my big toe depression. So
Right.
I love y'all.
Right.
I love that. Okay,
All
Brandy,
right.
you're up with the
All
question.
right. Okay. What does it feel like to see hope in someone else's recovery?
Ooh. You see hope in someone
You
else's
know,
recovery?
to see
Mm-hmm.
hope in someone else's recovery. Now, their hope you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful things to see ever. You know, like it's almost like something coming back to life. You know,
Yeah.
like it, it right about here in my chest. I feel really warm. I almost feel a little bit giddy, and 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 it actually like inspires me instantly to like figure out some way to be of service, you know, like to that
Yeah.
person. Like I'm just like, whoa, what can I do to help sustain this or help grow this or whatever? Like there's a big thing. I find it very inspiring, you know. Hope can be contagious. And in that circumstance,
Yeah.
it absolutely is, you know, like I have seen a room of sleepy old timers come alive when there's a new person with some hope in the room.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll just like pull out all the stops to be like, oh, whoa, stop the meeting. We're going back to step one, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pull their car over,
Yep.
you know, and like, you know, so for me to see that glitter in someone's eye, you know, it almost makes me want to cry sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much more than that because I really think it's like that basic of a feeling for me. But I
Yeah.
loved that.
Can we just cry for 5 minutes?
Ooh,
Yeah.
again.
I love you. All right,
I
let's go.
love you.
I'll take that question.
Okay. What does it feel like to see hope in someone else's recovery?
It's God, it's a feel like it's really unlike any other feeling. Like it's really one of those really, really beautiful feelings that we get to see and experience in this recovery process. It's one of the most beautiful things I get to see on a daily basis. And that's been another thing about going to meetings. I get to see a lot of it. I go to a lot of meetings, so I see a lot of that happening. You know, you see that first time where a little bit of light starts showing in that person's eye. You know,
Mm.
that natural smile that they get, maybe that first laugh that they laugh without feeling guilt. Ooh, we
Yeah.
talked about that. And we can spot that shit when there's someone in that
Yep.
parking lot that it's like uncomfortably they giggle and they catch themselves giggling and then they're like, oh my god, like I'm loving this, like I'm with people that love me, like
Yeah.
fuck, I need to leave, but then it's like, hey, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It's so like it's so beautiful to be able to feel that, you know, and it takes us back to when we were able to do it, and It's so cool, man. Like, I'm just thinking about all the times where that's happened. It happens all the time. Happens all the time.
It
But
happened
nothing
when
in the
I
world.
was talking, answering your question. I was thinking about that when I said it, that when you saw the hope in me when I was talking about when I first discovered, first
Yeah,
started getting hope, made you
yeah,
smile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really, really just because it just takes me back to that time. And again, I wasn't really feeling true hope until I could do that. And so when I see a
Mm,
newcomer start to lift their head a little higher, when you start hearing their voice change a little bit, it starts becoming more of a natural, like they're here and they're part of, and not trying to figure out why they're here. That's when things change for them, and then it also pumps us up because we know we're doing the right thing by helping this meeting or whatever we're doing. Just being
yeah.
in a meeting is being of service to a meeting. So um it allows me to builds my hope, right? Like seeing that hope in them builds my hope. It builds my optimism. um and it reminds me that this program still works. You know what I mean? That if, God forbid, if my kids ever need to use this program, it's going to be here doing the same thing for them.
Yeah.
And that's so important. That's why these like the traditions, all this stuff, like it makes me want to cry right now because it's so important that we do this every way the same time and make sure that these doors are open for these newcomers. Because if they don't have a place to go, man, people are dying anyways, right? Like people are dying anyways because of this disease. And so it's so important that we keep a place of love and hope and optimism for people to come because we don't, like, we're so beat down when we come here, man. A lot of us don't want to live. A lot of us don't think like we belong here, and so it's very important that we do this the right way, and we follow these traditions and we follow this literature. It's been laid out by a lot of people, and a lot of people have recovered and gotten clean from using drugs this way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it works. You know what I mean? It works. And so if you have a little bit of want to get off drugs, you want to get a little grimy, you can get off drugs, man. You gotta have a whole new life, man. Figure out who you are. But you gotta have some hope, man. And we'll give you some if you come in these rooms, man. We'll have it for you. And it's like borrowed. At the beginning, I had to borrow it. I had to
Right.
borrow that hope because I didn't have any. And then it's almost like I borrowed the hope to love until I was able to manifestate it myself, man. And so it's just a beautiful program. I love you guys, man. Need y'all.
I love you guys.
Gosh, I love
That
you
was
so
great.
much.
These
Yep.
because those are great answers. Made me think about a lot when I wrote this down too. So what does it feel like to see hope in someone else's recovery? Man, it's like, and when I say this, there's no doubt someone's felt the same way about me when I first got in here. But you see that addict that comes in and they don't, they're just there, like that whole the mute time when we don't like want to share or think we could share. And then you start to see somebody like start to share. And then, the good and the bad, because it's important to share all of it, not just the bad or not just good. And to be able to see them, their eyes start to brighten up and their expressions start to wake up and to see the hope, like physically see it. And like you're saying, Milan, like I feel it right here. Like it just, it gives me goosebumps,
Right
makes me want
there.
to cry. Like, and it just at the same time, it warps me back to my early hope. Not that, it's like, it reminds me of that first, those first times I started to acknowledge it. And it's beautiful. And when I doing steps with one of my sponsees, I know what my sponsor feels like now because every time I'm a very enthusiastic kind of person, especially when I'm like, oh shit, I learned something. And like and I told her every step, this one's it. This is the one that's life changing for me. And I have a sponsee that's the same way. And so I'm like, oh, I know what my sponsor feels like now because like every time, like just to see that hope in her life and her recovery and her outcome and is so beautiful and powerful. Like what a gift to be able to see it in someone else also. And it's amazing. It really, really is because like I didn't take the time to notice anybody's feelings, especially their hope, before I was able to recognize my own and lean on it. And so today when you see a newcomer, even someone that's been there for a while, and they have this like this hope, this sense of hope, like just flowing off of them. It's such a reaffirmation that we're here for a reason, that what we go through, we can turn around and help somebody else with it, and like the stories I thought I was going to take to my grave and never tell anybody, but today, like, I can use them as tools of overcoming, and being able to share that with someone else, and then you just hear it and see it in someone else. It's that part. It's almost like that part, like where we can't keep we have to give it away, and we don't always get to see the outcome of it. But those are the times we get to kind of see it, like that hope, because I didn't have I didn't know what the outcome was going to be when I first came into recovery, and if someone told me then that my life would be like it is today, I don't know if I would have believed them. But hearing other people talk my story and what they've been through gave me so much of that I get to give it away today. So that's why I say, like, well, however I feel about seeing somebody else's hope in their recovery, someone's felt about me, and at any time. There's a lot of things, we can overcome, and after we've been in this program for a while, and that hope gets renewed in a way that we don't hold it back at all. And we're able to show other people. And it's such a blessing to be able to see the hope in someone else's eyes. And you don't know, that person maybe hadn't had that twinkle in their eye ever. We come in here so broken, there's no other way to go. Like, I don't, like, these are my cards. This is what I was dealt. Like, I didn't think that there was any other way of life than the life I was living before I came in here. And I don't think I'm alone. So when you can see that in someone else, and see how, like, there is another way to live. Like, this recovery thing is possible. Like, you hear people say all the time, like, well, if I can get clean, you can get clean. That's true. That's true, because I say that, and I mean it. And so stuff like that gives people that hope that we get a witness. Like, that's why we don't do this program alone. We do it together. So I love you guys. That's my answer.
Bro, seeing the look on a newcomer's face when they come to that meeting the next day after, like, it's their, they have no days clean the first day, they barely make it through, and they come back the next day, and we call them by their name, and they're like, what,
Yeah.
what, like me, like, hey, like, and then that third day they're like, y'all keep calling my name. It's beautiful, because we know how
share,
we felt.
and then they share, and then bro.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing.
It is mine too, because it's. I think that with no matter how much time you have, not that I don't take advantage of what I have, or not grateful or whatever, but there's times that I forget how far I've come emotionally and spiritually. So to see it in someone else, almost like really.
Yeah, imagine day one coming in, seeing Brandi come up with like 4.5 years clean. Like, you'd be like, oh my God, like, that lady's amazing. So then but you don't think about that. Today. You don't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love it.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock. We'll do like a lightning round with this last question. Okay. It's such a good question, though. I do not want to.
Is my toe going to answer, or me? Do you want my toe to answer, or me?
You know it's all toe today, baby.
Okay.
Okay.
Toe Friday.
Okay. So the AA Big Book speaks of new freedom and new happiness. Optimism is living with your toe pointed upward. No. The Big Book speaks of new freedom and a new happiness. Optimism is living as if that promise is already true. Mr. Wisetoe, how do you embody freedom today rather than waiting for perfect conditions?
Well, if I could get on camera, this would be great. I can't seem to find the camera. I don't know if your camera's not working or what, but you were you talking to me? Did I have my hand up?
Mr. Wisetoe? Yes. How do you embody freedom today rather than waiting for perfect conditions?
Because if I waited for perfect conditions, bro, I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't be here right now if I waited for perfect conditions to do everything. My toe hurts. And so if I waited for perfect conditions for my toe not to be hurt, I wouldn't even be on this podcast right now. And I want to cry because my toe hurts so bad. But yeah, so I'm being silly. It really is being able to act in times of uncertainty that have made me who I am today. I used to run from my problems. I used to run from specific situations that would make me feel uncomfortable. And now I literally try to embrace them because I know it's the only way I'm going to grow. It's the only way I'm going to grow. So I got to grow, keep going and growing. Love you guys, man.
I love you,
totally-
Wise Toe.
Mhm.
Okay, Brandi, how do you
Yep.
embody freedom today rather than waiting for perfect conditions?
Well, kind of like what you're just saying, like, to wait for perfect conditions, you are wasting your time. Like,
Mhm.
like don't wait for the perfect moment to take a vacation with your family or to, I remember like when we were deciding to have a second kid, like we were going to wait for the perfect moment. Well, we weren't ever going to do it if that's the case. Like if you're waiting like for the perfect moment to go do this big thing, you're wasting your time waiting for that perfect moment. Embrace now, right now. Be
Yeah.
able to look at the what you have and be happy. Not, I mean, yeah, be happy with what you have, pretty much. But like instead of waiting for something better, like that's a character defect on its own because when you're looking for something better, you're not seeing what you have. And
Yeah.
and if you've got to wait till you're ready, it's or everything's perfect before you can do a certain thing, then you're just wasting your time. That's my answer.
I
Facts.
love that.
Freedom.
Okay, how do I embody freedom today rather than waiting for perfect
Mylanta.
conditions? First of all, like the perfect conditions implies that I've got an expectation of what perfect is, right? And I'm just feeling today like there is a freedom in contentment. That
Yeah.
is you know even beyond hope or optimism. Both things are taking me out of the present moment. And right now, in this moment, um, it is the perfect condition inside my
Mm.
heart. And like I was just saying to someone this morning while I was walking, um, it's like I am content and experiencing joy regardless of the roller coaster of life today. And it's just been that way recently. And so, people are like, how's it going? And I'm like, I'm great. The day is tumultuous.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Spell that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tumultuous.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo!
Give us a recovery. We do recover, guys.
Yeah.
The lies
That
I
down.
is
also used to
right.
do spelling bees, but
Yeah,
That's why I love you.
yeah.
That was beautiful.
that was.
That was great, guys. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a great podcast. A
What
lot
do you
of
think,
laughter in
That
it.
was
Mylanta?
amazing. Any final words, Andrew?
Yeah.
Courage. Continue on understanding recovery and God's embrace. And then if you do, you'll get more time. TIMA, things I must earn, this I must experience. Love y'all.
I
Effort
love
never
it.
dies. END. Effort never dies.
Brandy.
Yeah, I think great podcast, you guys. I think that if you ever have a hard time being optimistic, that's when it's okay. We fake it till we make it.
That's right.
Just tell yourself that it's sunny outside. Just, today's going to be a good
Until
day.
it gets sunny.
Until it
Woo.
gets sunny. If you're in
Woo.
Washington, it might take a few months, but
It will, I
you just keep
promise.
saying it anyways because the sun will shine on you.
Get
That's
him,
it.
Brandis.
All I can say is I'd rather live with hope and optimism than dread and pessimism. And I would also like to flick Andrew's toe just to give it some
Yeah.
love, to get the blood flowing to it for healing. So everybody out
Wow.
there, tune in next episode for more Wise Toe fun.
Yes.
Love you
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
That's so
I
fun.
love you.
I love y'all, man.
Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.